In today's video, we're going to look at the overall market once again. Right now, I think after today's price action, things are looking a bit sus. It's setting up for a much bigger move very soon. All right, so we're gonna dive deep into the details. I'm also going to be sharing with y'all a stock to keep on your watches for tomorrow. All right. Alright, y'all, let's dive into the charts right off the bat. We got the NASDAQ futures. And this is what I mean by the market is at a critical level. So right now, we have, today was only a small doji. As you can see, a very tiny candle, not too much opportunity to make money intraday, which kind of sucks. But when these little dojis happen, whenever there is if there is multiple doji stacked up next to each other, it precedes a much bigger move. And right now, the critical level is right there at 18,150, and we're not over that barrier just yet. So depending on how we open tomorrow, I think we're going to pull back. All right, I think there's going to be a big rejection. Just watch how we open. If we're open at like negative 0.10, negative 0.20 ish, then expect a sell off out the gates and a massive pullback with the Qs. It's been gapping up like throughout the past few days, right? So the major moves have been happening during the night, and it's been leaving a bunch of gaps down below here. 90% of all gaps in the market get filled at some point in time. Keep that in mind. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised for us to see something similar to what happened last week, where we got a pretty aggressive evening star, right? This is an evening star. This candle is much longer than what I thought it would be at the time, right? So something similar where we open like this and we drop down like that is what I'm anticipating. It's pulling too far away from the 9 SMA, so it's gonna have to touch that line at some point. So keep that in mind for tomorrow. Let's check out the VIX and see how that is. The VIX is still downtrending all the way down to the level of support, all the way down here at like 1260. All right. If we see a pullback, the VIX is gonna hit $15 tomorrow. There's a little gap at the top right there, which gotta get filled. It has to get filled, and there is a possibility, but that we might see it in the morning. Now, the stock to keep in your watch list for tomorrow. That stock is reporting earnings, and that stock is Shopify. Now, I want to share Shopify with you. I'm going to clean up the chart real quick. Now, I want to share Shopify with you guys for this very simple reason. Number one, the stock have been beaten down for quite some time. Months and years since the highs of 176. And right now, it's trying to make a turnaround. There is a few things that concern me. All right, there's a few things. But first, there is the structure on the charts. Right here, we have another falling wedge. I have shared with you guys, I believe, 2 different forward wedges so far. And this one is the third one. And we're gonna look at the outcome of what happened with those stocks. Now, this is a falling wedge. This one broke out on Friday, and then it popped out really on Monday. Today is Tuesday. It looks like this. In the morning, the stock is gonna report earnings. Typically, if we didn't have to deal with earnings, right? The move all the way up to, I will be telling you to watch for a move all the way up to $85. Typically. But since we're dealing with earnings, it's a different game. All right, it's a very annoying game. Very annoying game with earnings. We have 2 things to be worried about. First and foremost, a giant gap at the bottom, all the way down to $48. Okay, which could get filled. It could get filled within the next 2 weeks, depending on the reaction through earnings. All right. There's also another gap up here at 90. The market is looking a little sus. if we open up red and we see the stock not doing well through earnings, we might see it get down here. Now the previous falling wedges that we've seen, the first one was on Etsy. All right, and this is how Etsy performed. It broke out slowly, maturely, typically without earnings. I would tell y'all again, the green circle right there, but the reaction wasn't that great. Again, holding through earnings is gambling. The move doesn't always validate the chart. Sometimes you can get this, sometimes you can get that. So keep that in mind. The next one that was showing a falling wedge was PLTR, and PLTR, same predicament. This one was pushing us much higher, all the way up to 25, to where these short sellers are located, and then the reaction turned out to be negative, and we are retesting this level of support once again. Something to be worried about is this right here, that space at the bottom all the way down to 18 bucks, and the reaction, the gap is big. The gap that it left from that earnings is pretty big, and usually with gaps like that, the market, the stock itself tend to fade for days to weeks. It just slowly fades downward before trying to recover once again. So the situation with Palantir is not looking too great for bulls. It's really not. And even if you look at what's going on intraday, so this is what's happening intraday. It dropped like I told y'all it would in yesterday's video. It didn't drop all the way down to 20. That might have been a little aggressive, all right? But still, was there an opportunity to make money on this one? There definitely was. It was a shorting opportunity, which was the main purpose in me sharing that in yesterday's video. We have a bearish pennant that broke down during the afternoon. If this one behaves well, we could see it fall lower below $21 and maybe even get to $20 tomorrow. Like I initially told you guys, like the entire move will be delayed. All right, the entire move will be delayed, so it's getting chopped into 2 days. So that's what's going on with Palantir. And now Shopify, back to Shopify again. It could happen, so just be on the lookout for that. Don't be surprised. Depending on which way we open, wait for the first 5 minutes, because the first 5 minutes is key in knowing which direction we're going to go, especially if it gaps down. If it gaps down, then this will be another shorting opportunity, just like Palantir. Now let's look at another stock that is about to report earnings or reported earnings. Lyft. And Lyft, this is an IV crush. If you gamble through earnings, long or short, you're about to lose. All right, the stock didn't really go too far. It pretty much stayed around the same price. Both sides are going to get crushed because of the implied volatility into the contracts. And right now, yeah, I mean, I don't really know which way it's gonna go. Like, obviously there's this that's like immediately catching my attention. Set an alert right here, right at 15, like I'm doing. I believe eventually it's going to ring. Somebody may argue that this is a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder right here. And tomorrow, since we're opening up slightly higher at like 1770, we may see a bearish engulfing candle, maybe. All right, that would kind of like clean up the entire structure a little bit. And then the only thing to look forward to would be the break of that neckline at 15.30. So that's my thoughts on Lyft. The next one that we gotta look at is Oxy. Yeah, and Oxy reported earnings, and this one also went downward. It went down just a little bit. All right, I expect the other oil stocks to kind of follow through with that move. Again, the level of support is right at 62. And since it didn't drop that much, this one will be a good one to watch. Like, this one will be a solid one to watch. Set an alert right at $63.88 and patiently wait for the bell to ring. And when it rings, look at the volume. We want to see volume that is like this high, around 440,000 shares traded in volume, and a big candle downward that triggers the bell for an opportunity to short Oxy to $61.80. So that's my honest thoughts on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. Again, do not forget to annihilate the like button. As always, I make these videos from Sunday to Thursday at exactly 10 p.m. Eastern time. All right, so definitely click on that subscribe button and click on that notification bell. That way you get notified when I release these videos. If you'd like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get all of this information in real time as I see them, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. Don't forget to follow me on social media at NGumah and at Patternology Lab on Instagram and on X. And lastly, to get some free stocks with Webull, you can use the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Patternology Lab, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in tomorrow night's video.